Hi, I'm Erika and I'm a Fuel Management Planner and Plan Burn Operations Officer in Gippsland. There's a lot of community interest in fire safety and fuel management. So today I'm meeting with Senior Managers Geoff Conway from Forest Fire Management Victoria and Trevor Owen from CFA to chat about the season and what we should expect over the coming months. So Geoff, what have we seen so far over the summer and what do you think we could expect over the next coming months?
This summer's obviously been milder than last year, and we're all hugely relieved for that. But we mustn't drop our guard. You know, it's still just the end of January and there's a lot of summer to come. You know, Gippsland's such a big area and it's so different from one end to the other. In the west, it's still quite green and that's fantastic, so the fire risk is lower. The further east you go, the less rain we've had. In some parts of the country, particularly up the Tambo Valley, around Omeo and Benambra, that still worries us quite a lot. And even as recently as last weekend, we had some fires that gave us quite a fright. So there's still a lot of summer to go. We're not done yet.
And what do you think we'll see perhaps over the next few months?
The Bureau of Meteorology is still forecasting an average or slightly wetter than average summer and autumn. So that gives us a little bit of comfort, but once again, you're not ready to drop your guard. We've still got the chance for some really extreme fire weather days. And February, if you look at all the stats, will tell you that that's the month that gives us a lot of trouble. And we're certainly watching that eastern part of Gippsland, and all the preparedness that we normally do for those sort of days is still in place.
So with the milder summer, let's have a chat about what our crews have been doing.
The two big areas, Erika, are the recovery work from last year's fires, which is still going on, and also supporting those people who've been visiting the forest, particularly since the Christmas holiday started. Last year's fires had a big impact, and recovery work is a big part of what our crews do. The community are recovering and there's a lot of work going on there with Bushfire Recovery of Victoria. Our people are working too, and there are damaged tracks. There's a lot of trees that have been impacted by the fire which are now dangerous, so our crews are working on those. And of course with the visitor centres and locations with people who are now not constrained in Melbourne, they've been coming to visit the bush. So supporting people who've been camping and visiting into the forests and our visitor sites has been an important part of what we do, and maintaining those sites, and you know, a little bit of cleaning up afterwards as well, and we understand that. One of the other things that always concerns us, of course, is that people will go camping and they'll have a campfire. That's fine, and there are rules around how we manage that. But not everybody follows the rules, so some unattended campfires, some campfires that are too big, our crews have been managing all that sort of work as well. So they've had plenty to do.
We've noticed there's some concern in the community about fuel levels in the forest. When do we plan to undertake our fuel management works?
We've been working really hard already. The mechanical fuel treatments that we do with slashes and that sort of stuff, that's been going on for a few months now, and the teams are out there all the time. Our crews out of the work centres are really into that, and they've done some great work already. The fuel reduction burning is all depending on the weather. A lot of the preparation has been done by the crews out of our work centres, and they've done some great work. So they've been preparing tracks, they've been treating hazardous trees, they've been working out what their burn plans and their lighting plans are going to look like. So all that's happening. We're just waiting for that weather window now. It's just a little bit early yet. We just need to wait for a little bit longer, but as soon as the weather's in our favour, we'll be burning.
So Gippsland is a complex landscape. How do we deliver a fuel management program in that context?
I think that's a really important idea, and it helps if people understand just how different our patch is. You look at the forest down in the western end around Nuji and so on, lots of alpine ash and mountain ash and so on. The forest in East Gippsland are very different, and as is the climate. So the weather conditions that let us burn in these places is different. So there's one thing to think about. A lot of our burns are designed to protect communities and homes and farms and those sorts of things. How we prepare for those burns is different as well. So we have to be far more rigorous in our preparation in those places. Then of course you go up in the high country and it's different again. Access is so complicated. So it's incredibly rugged in some of these parts of Gippsland that we've got to look after. So how the crews prepare for those burns is different again, and how the weather will affect the burns in those areas will be different. So we have to wait for the right weather conditions for each of those circumstances to suit the crews when they go out. And that's what our planners do to get us ready for those sorts of things.
So, Trevor, as Deputy Chief Fire Officer for the South East region, what do you see as Gippsland's greatest risks for the rest of summer?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of growth in the grassland in particular, and that's a real risk to us at the moment. So we're seeing parts of Gippsland where the grass growth is up around waist height. So that's now drying out, and that'll carry fire quite easily. So we know that grass cures very easily, and with a bit of moisture, what we're seeing at the moment with a bit of rainfall in between, but that soon dries out. We only need a few days of that, and that presents a real risk. Grass fires move incredibly quickly, so it is about being prepared, but the grass fire risk is front of mind at the moment.
So, with a lot of summer still to go, what advice would you have for community members that want to get out in the great outdoors?
So we want to encourage people to come to Gippsland. It's a great part of Victoria, but at the same time it's about making sure people are safe. We had big bushfires last season. Very different story this season, but it is about being safe and being prepared just in case we do end up with fires. So it is about monitoring the fire danger ratings. It's about monitoring total fire bans, the fire danger period. Importantly, we've also got to download the Vic Emergency app and monitor that as well, because that'll give us good information of a fire that may start in the area, and then we can react to that accordingly. So keeping up to date and keeping informed about the current situation is important when you're doing any recreational activities and enjoying the great outdoors in Gippsland.
So, with significant grass growth across the region drying out, what advice would you be giving to farming communities?
Yeah, so importantly, it's never too late to prepare your property, and hopefully many of those farming properties have prepared for, as they would normally do, a grass and bushfire season. But it's about making sure that your fire breaks are in order, that grass is no more than 10 centimetres tall around those fire breaks to assist us to be able to pull the fire up if required. But it's also about making sure that farming equipment and the maintenance of that equipment is in good working order, because often fires start from poorly maintained equipment. Making sure that water supplies are readily accessible, that we or farming community can access those water supplies is important as well. But it is about really preparing your property, getting your things into good order, making sure that you've got a level of personal protective equipment as well. Calling in the fire early if it does start. Don't delay that, because grass fires move very, very quickly. The earlier we're notified, the quicker we can respond and extinguish the fire.
Like you, we are part of the community and care about what matters most. As well as staying informed about fire safety, we welcome your suggestions for managing fuel in your area as part of the joint fuel management planning process. I hope we've provided some useful information in this video and that you stay safe and informed this summer.